Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seat. We will begin the program in 5 minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, please find your seat. We're about to begin our program. We start with this first-team All-American and Outland Trophy winner for Jackie Sherrill's Pitt Panthers. He later was a first-round draft choice for the Washington Redskins, where he became a two-time Super Bowl champion under head coach Joe Gibbs and was named one of the 70 greatest Redskins of all time. Please welcome back to the Broyles Award, Mark May. Our first finalist is the first ever back-to-back Broyles Award finalist from two different schools. Last year it was BYU, and in 2021 he comes to the Broyles Award as a champion of the Big 12 Conference. Ladies and gentlemen, from Baylor University, please welcome offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes. Our next finalist is also a two-time finalist, as he was here in 2019, and just like that year, he once again has one of the toughest defenses in the country. In fact, his defense ranks number 2 in all of college football. Up next, they'll prepare for the college football playoff as they take on the University of Michigan on New Year's Eve. From the University of Georgia, please welcome defensive coordinator Dan Lanning. Up next, this finalist helped the Michigan Wolverines claim their first outright Big Ten title in 17 years. His offense closed out the season with back-to-back 42-point games against the 15th-ranked Iowa Hawkeyes and the number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes. From the University of Michigan, please welcome offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis. Our next finalist has always had a very stingy defense, and this year was no different. In fact, they're ranked number 3 in the country. On January 1st, the Cowboys will take on Notre Dame in the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Making his first trip to Little Rock for the Broyles Award, please welcome the defensive coordinator from Oklahoma State, Jim Knowles. Our last finalist has rewritten the record books at Wake Forest. Under his direction, the Demon Deacons averaged a whopping 469 yards per game and scored an average of 41 points per game. On New Year's Eve, Wake Forest will play Texas A&M in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. Please welcome to the Broyles Award, the offensive coordinator of Wake Forest, Warren Ruggiero.
Welcome to the 26th Annual Broyles Award. I'm Jeff Hildebrand with Centennial Bank, and I've been fortunate enough to be the chairman of this award for the last 17 years. David Basil came up with the idea to recognize Division I college football assistant coaches over 26 years ago, and each year our finalists get even more impressive. Isn't it great to be in person this year? It's such a great, let's do that. We need to tell it. We want to be in person. I want to thank each of you for being here today. I want to thank all of our sponsors, the Broyles family and the Broyles Foundation. Many of you have been with us for the entire 26 years, and we appreciate it, and we would not be here today without your support. To get us started with our prayer today, I would like to welcome Chuck Monan, minister of the Pinnacle Church of Christ, to the podium. Those of us locally, he's better known as the pigskin preacher, and Coach Gaddis, he's a huge Michigan fan, so.
Join me in prayer, if you will. Our God and Father, we give you thanks for this food, for this occasion, for the hard work done by David, the committee, and the Broyles family. Today we are here to give honor to whom honor is due. We also give you thanks for these fine coaches and the influence they have on the young lives under their leadership. We pray your continued blessings on them in the years ahead. And we ask for a special blessing for Coach Gaddis. In that sweet wheel route, he's going to call to Donovan Edwards as the Maize and Blue put it to Georgia in the Orange Bowl. These favors and blessings we ask in the name of our Savior, Jesus. Amen.
Thank you, Chuck. I think we're going to replace you next year, but that's okay. Please enjoy your lunch. The program will get started in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Okay, please continue eating. We're going to go ahead and start the program. Before I get started, Chuck, Coach Lanning with Georgia said he wants to see you in the back after the meeting's over. So you're good, Dan. You take care of him. So it's my pleasure to introduce the founder and creator of the Broyles Award, David Basil. Many of us know David. He's better known as the Baz. David grew up in Panama City, Florida, joined the Razorback football team and the Razorback Nation in 1981, where he started as a linebacker under coaches Lou Holtz and Ken Hatfield. The highlight of his career was the 1984 Liberty Bowl against the Bo Jackson-led Auburn Tigers. David had 15 tackles that day, and to this, he tells that story every year, and it goes to 21 tackles, 23 tackles. I don't know what it is, but obviously you had a great game. So Baz is on a local sports talk radio show, 103.7 The Buzz, from 6 a.m. to 10. In addition to creating the Broyles Award, he has been directly or indirectly involved in creating 8 awards, 9, something like that. He refers to the awards as his children. Well, today, his oldest child, the Broyles Award, is 26 years old. Let's help welcome the Baz.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, buddy. All right. Thank you, Jeff. And Jeff has been with me 17 years of the 26. And, this is, I get a lot of credit for the Broyles Award, but this is teamwork, and nobody gives it more. This is not his full-time job. Of course, he does this as a volunteer. Let's give it up for Jeff Hildebrand, everybody. Thank you, Jeff. So most of you have been to the Broyles Award before. If you haven't, so here's the deal. This is what's happening. There's a live show going on out there right now with KATV Channel 7 being broadcast across the state. That's from 11:30 to 12 o'clock. So I need to be wrapped up with my comments here at 12 o'clock as we start the show. So I just want to say I'm so excited to be here. We got 5 great finalists, outstanding guys. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, you've got the best in America right here. The best, the top, the best there is. Out of 1,500 assistant coaches, these 5 are here. I think it deserves another round of applause if you don't mind. We couldn't do this without our amazing sponsors. If you give me a second to thank them real quick. I want to first start off with our gold sponsor, Simmons Bank, George Macris. What they've been able to do with Simmons in the last 10 years is amazing. One of the fastest growing banks in America. Thank you, Simmons Bank, for believing in the Broyles Award. Delta Dental, another company that's been with us for a long time. Ed Choate, who we just found out was an assistant football coach at one point in his career. Ed stood by us in so many years. We appreciate Delta Dental. And Kristen Merlot, who's going to be the new CEO there. Saracen Casino and Resort, they're doing great things down in Pine Bluff. And thanks to Carlton Safa, who's a huge football fan. I think he was at the boot win, Arkansas over LSU, a few weeks ago. But thanks to Saracen Casino and Resort. Lexicon, amazing company founded by the late Tom Schick, who we lost on March 3rd, 2020. Last night, we announced that we were going to have, he always sponsored our night before dinner. And we're going to name that the Tom Schick Memorial Dinner every year, and we really appreciate Lexicon and Marge and Jennifer and Patrick. We love Tom and miss him, but thanks to them. Our silver sponsors, Quattlebaum Grooms and Tull. Tim Grooms, obviously one of the partners there. His son, Jeff, has been amazing working on this award. He's on the Broyles Foundation, so we appreciate them. Lindsay Management, many of you know, obviously remember Jim Lindsay. Love him. What a great Razorback he was. Of course, Lindsay runs that company. We say thanks to them. Gary, thank you. Unite Private Networks, thank you so much for sponsoring this year. We appreciate you guys. Also, too, we had some new. We love new sponsors like Unite Private Networks and Big Red Stores, who they're our hospitality sponsor. Last night we have a thing right after our dinner where it's just the coaches and their wives and the host, and Molly and Betsy get to sort of hang out, and that's sponsored by Big Res. Thanks to the Hendricks family. You guys do so much in the community. Thank you for all you do, and thank you for believing in the Broyles Award. Heritage Agriculture, who is underwriting this broadcast today on Channel 7, thanks to the Litton family. Heritage Agriculture, Mike Litton, we appreciate them. And then these 3 sponsors have been with us for all 26 years. KATV, my man Sully, who will do all the videos that you see, along with Kyle Deckelbaum. Those 2 guys are 2 of the most talented broadcasters in the country. We have them right here at Channel 7. Thank you, Mark Rose, for your sponsorship and your support all these years at KATV. The Communications Group, Dane Cowling, I remember when I had this idea, there was somebody who said, David, you don't know, I'll never forget, David, you don't know what you're doing. You can't put Coach Broyles' name out there nationally. You don't know what you're doing. And Dane, who was with the communications group, said, David, I believe in you. You can't pull it off. And here we are 26 years later. So thank you, Dane, for all the work you've done. Carson and all your team, we appreciate you. And the Democrat Gazette, Arkansas Democrat Gazette, Wally Hall, he's been so supportive all these years of what we do, and we appreciate him and Amanda Copley for the support. They've been very key in helping us grow the Broyles Award. Also, real quick, our bronze sponsors, Biotech, Pulaski County Title, Home Instead Senior Care, the Great Little Rock Chamber of Commerce, Avenir Memory Care, Arkansas Urology, Century Bank of the Ozarks, and Centennial Bank, which is Jeff's bank, and they've been involved with us, obviously, from as long as Jeff's been involved. Also want to thank Victory Rings. You'll see a lot of different lapel pins that we're wearing. That was done by Victory Rings. We appreciate them. And the Hatcher Agency, Greg Hatcher, who has Twin City Limo. So you can imagine trying to get to everybody from one point to another in a short amount of time, and we couldn't do it without Greg, so we appreciate them. If you would, give all of our great sponsors a round of applause, if you would. We couldn't do this without them. Because we're here to do a few things. We're here to honor these great assistants. We're here to honor the legacy of Coach Broyles, and we're here to raise money for the Broyles Foundation, and they're trying to support caregivers for those dealing with Alzheimer's. And that's why we're here. That's why you're spending money, all you sponsors, so we appreciate you doing that. A few other folks, I want to thank all of you who bought tables, right in that same line of thinking. All the hosts up here who have hosted all of our finalists. 103.7 The Buzz, we've broadcasted 13 live hours of radio, and we'll also have this live on 103.7 The Buzz. Our Touchdown Club volunteer team, Debbie Wyman, Wes Sutton, Dwayne Duncan, our photographer, Nelson Chenault. But I do want to thank real quick, Jeff Hildebrand, as I mentioned earlier, has been off the chart. Molly, who I'm going to bring up in just a sec, just had a baby about how many weeks ago? 4 weeks ago, Harper Ruth. And so she's sort of been out of the picture. And so her husband, Clayton Harrell, and Jeff Grooms and Jeff Hildebrand have been amazing in picking up the slack. And so if you would you give those three guys especially a round of applause if you don't mind? I also want to mention my man Houston Nutt back here. Where's Houston? Okay. He's doing TV. So I want to mention Houston Nutt, Pat Jones, and Bo Busby. The morning breakfast, which was sponsored by Simmons, was always the thing Coach Broyles used to love to do. So Coach would come in, and I was telling the story today, Betsy and Molly, even when Coach started losing it a little bit in his ability to remember things, we would just try to push a button. We'd try to push a button. Also, we pushed a button, and he all of a sudden, he would say, well, 1945, we couldn't substitute. And he said, Bobby died, and it was such a special breakfast. But when we lost Coach Broyles, there was sort of a void there. And so it's been nice to have guys like Houston and Pat Jones and Bo Busby who knew Coach Broyles so well. And they shared those stories with our finalists today. That's always a special time, so we appreciate them. I think that's it. Oh, I did want to mention real quick, too. This is the first time we've ever, 2019. We have started the High School Broyles Award. It is so cool. I think Coach Broyles will be so excited because when I asked Coach Broyles, who do you want on the statue with you? Not Barry Switzer, not Joe Gibbs, not Johnny Majors, not Jimmy Johnson. Who do you want on the statue? Wilson Matthews. What was Wilson Matthews when he hired him? A high school coach. So we have created the High School Broyles Award that goes to the top assistant high school coach in every state. We're just at 6 states right now, but we've got commitments from all 40 states. So we'll recognize them a little bit later. I did want to say thank you to Field Turf, BSN Sports, Victory Rings, as already mentioned, and Ace Sports. So, Brian, we appreciate you guys stepping up and doing that. So I think that's it. Do I have anything else? Have I missed anything? All right, continue to enjoy your lunch. We've got about 7 minutes. We'll get the signal. RJ will call for a big round of applause as we come to the live show, and we're going to have a lot of fun. Hey, listen. I always say, you could be sitting in a hospital somewhere today. There's somebody that's not here today because his grandfather, I think he was in his 90s, is getting ready to pass. And so, you know what? I think sometimes we lose the moment. Just enjoy the moment. Enjoy the excellence we have up here and how these 5 guys have impacted young men Some have been doing it for over 30 years. Some have been doing it for 10 to 15 years. But the bottom line, they're all impacting young men. They're the best in the business. And we're proud to have you here. You know, Little Rock, Arkansas embraces this, the state of Arkansas. So we celebrate Coach Broyles' legacy and help raise funds for a cause in his honor. So enjoy the rest of your lunch. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 minute away from live TV. 1 minute away.
Go to that Twin Grove video pretty quick when we start.
We are 30 seconds away from live TV.
Live from the beautiful Marriott Hotel in downtown Little Rock, the Frank and Barbara Broyles Foundation presents the 26th Annual Broyles Award, honoring the top assistant coaches in college football. Featuring our finalists: Baylor University Offensive Coordinator Jeff Grimes, Oklahoma State University Defensive Coordinator Jim Knowles, University of Georgia Defensive Coordinator Dan Lanning, University of Michigan Offensive Coordinator Josh Gaddis, and Wake Forest University Offensive Coordinator Warren Ruggiero. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your 2021 Broyles Award finalists.
All right, welcome everybody to the 2021 Broyles Award. I'm David Basil, the founder of the Broyles Award, the proud founder of the Broyles Award. This is the 26th year we've done this, and I couldn't be more proud to have these great coaches here. They're outstanding coaches, but they're even better men. I know Coach Broyles will be smiling on what we're doing and we continue to do to raise money in his honor, and of course the Broyles Foundation, which supports caregivers of those that are dealing with Alzheimer's. It's going to be a fun show. It's going to be a fast-paced show, but we have to remember why we're here. It's exciting to me. You know, assistant coaches are always in the news, guys, always in the news. I'll give you a quick example. You see, Lincoln Riley was a winner here a few years ago, goes off and just gets a $100 million deal, right? You see that? Not bad. $10 million a year. Too bad I didn't put a rider in there. If you win the Broyles Award, we may get a percentage of your future contracts. On a tougher note, Joe Brady, who Dan Lanning, you were here a few years ago, was the hot coach and one of our outstanding coaches, just was let go at Carolina. So this is a tough business. And so that's why I hope you coaches enjoy it, your day today. It's going to be a special day. Can't wait to hear from him. We've got some special folks to meet here in just a minute. Do want to thank everybody who's watching on KATV across the state, all you fan bases that have tuned in. You may be watching it on Facebook. You may be watching it on, whatever the app that you're watching it on, and also on 103.7 The Buzz here locally. But to remind us of why we're here, I want us to watch a video. My man right behind me, Quinn Grovey, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the history of Razorback football. He also serves on the Broyles Foundation, and this is his message to you about today.
Good afternoon. My name is Quinn Grovey, and I'm a caregiver. For a guy that's played in a lot of big football games against some great opponents, being a caregiver is and was by far the toughest thing I've ever had to do in my life. In 2006, my mother and hero, Bobby Grovey, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. When I heard the diagnosis, I knew my life and my mother's life was never going to be the same. I knew my mom was a fighter, and I knew I would be fighting side by side with her. But what I didn't know was how you fight with your loved one can be the difference between a good minute, a good hour, or a good day for your loved one. That's why the Broyles Foundation is so important to me. They help me realize that I'm not alone as a caregiver, and they help me understand what my mother was going through and what may be coming next, and how I can help her get through the next stage while reducing her stress. My mom battled this horrible disease for 10 years, and I would have been lost all 10 years if it wasn't for the education and the resources of Coach Broyles and the Broyles Foundation. Because of their experiences with the disease, they truly make the difference in the life of caregivers and their loved ones. When you're dealing with this disease, emotional stress is high, but financial stress begins to creep in. And Coach Broyles never wanted families to choose between resources for your loved one or paying the bills. That's what impresses me the most about the Broyles Foundation. They provide education and services at no cost to the caregivers and their families. The foundation is funded by the generosity of people like you, coaches like you, and with your continued support, we will be able to keep Coach Broyles' dream alive of giving families a game plan for care at no cost at all. So please scan the QR code on the table now and give to the Broyles Foundation today and every year. Your help is needed in a big way. If you hadn't been a caregiver for a loved one that's been diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia, you probably will be at some point in time. Please help now so this organization will be here to help you and your family. In closing, my name is Quinn Grovey. I'm a caregiver, and I'm thankful for the Broyles Foundation.
Thank you, Quinn. Well said. Well said. At this time, I do want to bring up the daughter and granddaughter of Coach Broyles, Betsy Broyles Arnold, Molly Harrell, who I just mentioned, just had baby Harper Ruth. They work extremely hard on the Broyles Foundation and the Broyles Award. Let's get it up for Betsy and Molly, everybody.
Thank you all for being here. And Quinn, thank you for always sharing your story. I know it impacts a lot of people. Well, just like in any game plan, these coaches know that you've got to, if you're going to be successful, you've got to have a game plan. You've got to execute that game plan. You've got to watch film and assess your players. And that's the same thing in caregiving. You have to know what specific plan you need that's tailored to your family. And in 2001, when my grandma was diagnosed, we had no idea what Alzheimer's was and how to put a game plan together. Fast forward several years, when my grandpa was diagnosed, we knew what we were doing, so we could put together that game plan for care. And as a result, it improved the quality of life for my family and most importantly for my grandpa. The really sad thing is, and like you heard from Quinn, is in 2021, people are still going through that same trial and error, feeling alone and isolated that we did in 2001. And it doesn't have to be like that. That's why we're here. We're here to help families. I'm really excited to say that over the last 2 years, we have done over $350,000 in free caregiving services. So please consider giving so that we can continue that, keeping my grandpa's legacy alive of giving help at no cost to caregivers.
My dad often, when asked about the foundation, he would say to people, everybody has compassion. But when that compassion turns to passion, it propels action. And that's what we do. We are so passionate about helping families. And so if any of you out here are dealing with this disease, please reach out and talk to us, because we are passionate about helping your families. So thank you for your consideration, keeping my dad's legacy alive at no cost for caregivers. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job. About 3 years ago, I'd always had this idea in the back of my mind that maybe we could extend the Broyles Award at the collegiate level to the high school level. But I knew how much work it was going to take. So because of your brother Jacob, he agreed, we decided to launch it. And now your husband Clayton has done an amazing job. We've got commitments from now 40 states that they want to participate in announcing one high school assistant coach from each state as a Broyles Award winner. And I had a message from a buddy of ours who actually stood at this podium and won one of these that started as a high school coach. He wants to share a quick message.
Hey everyone, Gus Malzahn here. I just wanted to start out by saying congratulations to the high school coaches that won the Broyles Award. I was fortunate enough to win it in college. It was real special for me, the fact that I was a high school coach before, and then the fact that they're extended to the high school coaches is really special. Also, congratulations to the college coaches that are up for the award. It's one of the more special awards I ever won. The fact I knew Coach Broyles personally, just a very special deal.
How about that, everybody? Yes. Special appearance by Gus. Yeah, Razorback fans are getting ready to see him in that neck of the woods here in a few weeks. I did want to recognize this will probably be the last time we're able to do this because we just have 6 states right now. We have Arkansas, Alabama, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas. And so I'm going to be able to mention a couple names here real quick of our winners. Next year, we may have 30 or 40. We won't be able to do this, but I mentioned Phil Turf as the presenting sponsor. At this time, if you would, I'm going to name the winner. This is from 2021. Just hold your applause. Our 2021 winners of the High School Broyles Award. First from the state of Arkansas, Coach Mark Kelly. Hold your applause. Coach Scott Goolsby. Coach Taurus Howard. Coach Todd Bonniwell. Coach Brian Nix. Coach Paul Willingham. Now, if those guys will please stand, where are they at right now? Where are they? Yeah. So hold your applause. So Coach Kelly was from Arkansas, Coach Goolsby, Alabama, Coach Howard from Louisiana, Coach Bonniwell, Oklahoma, Coach Nix, Tennessee, and Coach Willingham from Texas. Now, we also have the 2020 winners from Arkansas, Coach Kirk Bach, from Alabama, Coach Brandon Dean. And we even have our first year's winner back again from Arkansas 2019, Coach Doc Crowley, who is now a head coach. And from Texas, the Broyles Award winner there is Coach Casey Pierce. Where are they at? So let's give a round of applause to all our high school Broyles Award winners. Thank you, guys. And again, Molly, I know that Molly embraces that because we know that this was the high school coach that coached, and it was his most dear friend and confidant. Congratulations to all you coaches. I know probably you collegiate coaches may know a few of those assistants because you may call on them to recruit their kids. I don't know if I saw any of that going on while you were here or not, but congratulations to you guys. Now it's time to meet and get to know our 5 finalists. And we've got a guy that comes every year to this event that could charge a fee, and he doesn't do that. We have him every week on 103.7 The Buzz for about 7 years. He's one of the greatest offensive linemen to ever play the game. He was an unanimous All-American at Pitt, the Outland Trophy winner at Pitt. He goes on to become one of the greatest Washington Redskins linemen in the history. He's one of the top 75 in the list of the greatest Redskins of all time. And the greatest thing about him, he also won 2 Super Bowls with Washington. And who was the coach? Joe Gibbs, who happened to be under Frank Broyles. He was one of his assistants. So he's a great, loyal guy. He loves Arkansas. He loves the Broyles Award. Give it up for Mark May, everybody.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to come back to lovely Little Rock. Every time I have an opportunity to come here, I come back, and especially for the Broyles Award and the people of Little Rock and Arkansas, you make this thing happen. Thanks for coming to this event. And these guys up here, phenomenal coaches. Give them a round of applause again because they've done a spectacular job this season. Our first coach that I'm going to introduce in our first finalist is Jeff Grimes, the offensive coordinator at Baylor. And the reason why I'm so kind of giddy about this is because he's a former offensive lineman. Started from the trenches, offensive line coach, worked his way up to be offensive coordinator, brought a terrific offense called the RVO offense, reliable, violent offense, brought it in from Brigham Young where he had great success, brought it to Baylor and made it successful there. But here's what's really important and successful. If you want to be a successful coach, go back and watch the Big 12 championship game. Starting a true freshman quarterback in his second start. Biggest game of the year. So what does he do with Blake Shapen? Has him prepared, dialed in. His first 17 pass attempts, all completions. That's impressive. So if you want to see a great coach, you're going to hear him come up in a minute. But first, we're going to go to the videotape. Let's go to the videotape for offensive coordinator and former offensive lineman, Jeff Grimes.
Jeff Grimes, offensive coordinator, Baylor.
3rd and goal at the 8th. Bohannon looking, he's got him! Touchdown!
Jeff Grimes put the bite back in the Baylor offense. Grimes inherited an offense that was ranked 118th out of 127 last year. Grimes' key ingredients for a monumental turnaround: a little-used junior quarterback, Gary Bohannon, and a linebacker turned running back, Abram Smith. The results? Nothing short of spectacular. His Bear offense, known as RVO, reliable, violent offense, jumped from 123rd nationally in rushing offense, 90 yards a game, to 227 yards a game, which is 8th nationally. They're averaging a Big 12 leading 446 yards a game. The new starting quarterback, 37th nationally in passing efficiency. That running back, Abram Smith, 7th nationally in rushing. They went from averaging 23 points a game to 33 points a game this season. Today, Jeff Grimes joins a special group of coaches. Baylor offensive coordinator Jeff Grimes is now a 2-time Broyles Award finalist.
Wow. As coaches, we're always looking for a competitive edge. And so, I'm hoping, Mark, that being the offensive lineman that I've been and coaching the position might mean something here. And, I also learned last night that Frank Broyles' first coaching job ever was at Baylor. And I see Betsy wearing her green today. I'm sure that doesn't mean anything, but it means something to me. Being here means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you so much, David, Jeff, Betsy, Molly, Mark, everyone that's involved. I know if you've been here before and I've watched the previous speeches, you've heard people say this, but it truly is a first-class deal. Just the experience to be here has been amazing, and the way that we've been treated is phenomenal. As I stand here today, I think back on how I first got into this business. And I didn't intend to go into coaching for a lot of the reasons that we might question coaching, the nomadic lifestyle, the challenges on a family, and a lot of the things that can be seen as negatives. And so I resisted it for a while. And then I was selling advertising, and my wife was still in school, living in South Texas. And I'd been out trying to make sales all day, had to wear a suit. I had an old pickup that didn't have air conditioning, didn't have enough money to get AC fixed in it. And I'm sitting at a railroad crossing, and train's going by in front of me, and I just felt this prompting that I needed to do that. And so I consider it more than just a job, more than something that gives me the opportunity to make money. I consider it a calling, and I really, truly mean that. And I feel like I'm the luckiest guy in the world to get to do what I do every single day. All the years that I've coached, and I've taken a different route than most people. I started out coaching high school football. I was a graduate assistant a couple of different places. I was a Division III coach. And then for a lot of years, those years and then many after that at the Division I level, was an offensive line coach. And always thought and dreamed and hoped that someday I would have the opportunity to become a coordinator, maybe a head coach someday. And very often didn't even get an opportunity to talk to anyone about some of those jobs. And, it's not often that people think of an offensive line coach in that light. And so for me to be here is really pretty remarkable for me personally. And as I think back on all the years that I've been coaching, all the joys, all the disappointments, and all the times when I wondered if it was ever going to happen for me to have the opportunity that I was hoping for, there was really only one person that always believed in me, was my biggest cheerleader, my biggest supporter, and that's my wife, Sherry, who's here today. Thank you. I love you. And I'm really blessed to have a wife that loves the game. I got 4 kids, Bailey, Garrison, Graydon, Jada. They love football. They've grown up around it their entire lives. And for a while, I had a real hard time trying to figure out how to coach and be a husband and be a dad. And I felt like it was going like this all the time in my life. And I couldn't find a way to find peace with it, because the demands for being a coach at this level and the recruiting and being a husband and a father, if you're going to do it the right way, those demands are great. And I wanted to do them the right way. And there was a time when I almost got out of college coaching and just said, okay, I'm going to need to go do something else. But after spending some time just really praying about it, thinking about it with Sherry, I just didn't feel like that was the right move. And then what I learned in the next couple of years was, instead of allowing those things to pull against each other, was to find a way to bring them together. And so to have the opportunity for my wife to be involved with my players, coming and bringing them food, having them over to the house. She's got all their numbers. She's texting them all the time. We've had players stay at the house when they got shot. We've had players that had illnesses or injuries, and she goes over to their house to bring them food, and she goes, "Oh my goodness, this place is a disaster." And so she stays all day and cleans their apartment. And so to have a wife that is involved like that, I don't know. I just couldn't imagine doing it otherwise. I would have been burned out by now had that not been the case, had my kids not loved it. And so being able to bring family and football together is the way that I've found to make it work. And I feel really, really blessed. And I just want to say that to any coach that might be thinking about this, you can have it all. You can be a successful coach and a good husband and a good father if you really want to be. But you got to make the decision to want to be, and you got to make some other decisions to push some other things aside. So it was mentioned that I had the opportunity to do a video for this last year since we didn't do it in person. And in my video, I thanked a lot of people, and I feel a little bit guilty about either doing that or not doing that today. But after thinking about it for quite some time, I decided that today I really wanted to focus on Baylor and the opportunity that I've had this year in particular. I'm grateful to be at a place where our Christian faith and values are lived out on a daily basis. I'm so thankful to President Livingstone, to our athletic director, Mac Rhodes, for giving me this opportunity and giving us the support and building an environment that allows us to really have not only the kind of success that we've had on the field, but the kind of impact in the lives of these young men that we'd like to have. Super, super grateful to Dave Aranda, who gave me this opportunity to be a head coach, as a head coach, to allow me to be his offensive coordinator. And I knew him before he was a head coach. We worked together at LSU, and I've really seen what a great head coach he is. And obviously this year's record bears that out. And the thing that I think is really cool about our team at Baylor this year is that it really has been a team effort. We've won with complementary football. We've been sound in all phases of the game. And a quick story that I think points to that would be the next segue I would have, and that's thanking the players. So many players to be thankful for. One of them who was mentioned, our running back, Abe Smith, who was not even on the offense when I first came. And one day, as coaches often do, I was expressing some frustration during spring ball, and my wife came to one of our scrimmages in the spring, and she said, "Are you sure we should really do that add-on to the house? I'm not really sure we're gonna be able to pay for that if we can't score a few points." But as I was expressing that frustration about our offense, particularly our run game, David Wetzel, who was a longtime high school Texas coach and works with us as well now, said, "Have you ever seen Abe carry the football?" And I said, "No, I didn't know he was a running back." And he said, "You ought to think about it." And so then I went to our defensive coordinator's office, Ron Roberts, and I just said to Ron, "Hey, I'm really frustrated with our run game. Do you know anybody that you think could help us?" And I didn't mention Abe's name, and he said, "Abe could be a really good running back. I know what you're looking for, and he's got that kind of toughness and that kind of resolve. You ought to think about him." And I said, "Well, he's playing for you at linebacker." And he said, "It doesn't matter. If he could be your starting running back, then that could change our team." And so what an unselfish moment that was by him to say that. And that was a huge part of our success. And then, a quarterback from Earl, Arkansas, who a lot of people didn't give a chance, a kid that bet on himself and believed in himself when a lot of people didn't recruit him as a quarterback. He's a guy that just showed up every single day and has worked. And I'd show up in the morning at 6 o'clock and he'd be there watching film. And I'd get ready to go home at 10:30 or 11 and he's still sitting there watching film. And then unfortunately he had an injury and missed these last couple of games. But this says something about the kid he is and the kind of team we have. As I'm standing on the field after the Big 12 championship, which I'm still not quite sure how we won after Coach Knowles just made us look silly for a while. After the game's over, I feel somebody pick me up and shake me. And I thought it must be one of our offensive linemen because I'm not a small guy, and sets me down, and I turn and I look, and it's Gary. And he's got a tear in his eye, and he just said, "Thank you, Coach. I'm so happy. Congratulations." And those moments are the moments that really make this worthwhile, this coaching thing worthwhile. And Just a moment ago, I got a text from one of my former players who's playing in the NFL and was struggling with one of his techniques, and he's asking me, hey, Coach, what can I do about this? How can I help? And I gave him some advice, and he came back to me and said, yeah, I tried that. It really worked. Those relationships are the things that really matter the most. And then the last thing I have to do is thank my staff. Eric Mateos, who coaches our offensive line, who I brought with me from BYU, does a tremendous job. Sean Bell coaches our quarterbacks, did an amazing job this year with 2 different quarterbacks, Juice Johnson with our running backs, Chancey Stuckey with our receivers. And once again, thank you so much to the Broyles Foundation and just giving me this opportunity to be here. I'm really honored.
Our next finalist for the Broyles Award is defensive coordinator Dan Lanning from Georgia. If you watched them play this year from the first week of the season when they absolutely destroyed Clemson, you were impressed. But each and every week after that, you got more impressed, shutting out opponents, not once, not twice, but 3 times during the regular season. And statistically, if you looked at them in the regular season in the SEC, that's one of the best defenses ever in the conference. This isn't his first time at the Broyles Award, it's his second time because he's such a great coach. He was here for 2019. He was a finalist. I want you to go to the videotape, but as an offensive lineman, I'm going to have to go back and make one stand. Stopping this defense, if you go back to Frank Stram, if you remember him, is like throwing popcorn at a battleship. You can't stop them. They keep coming in waves. Let's go to the videotape.
3, drop 8, and they still get pressure and sack him at the 3-yard line.
Since being named defensive coordinator, Dan Lanning has produced 3 top-rated defenses. And this season, Lanning's D has been historically good, the best in college football. They are number 1 in the country in scoring defense, allowing just 9 points a game. And the 2021 season included back-to-back shutout wins. And 9 opponents were held to 7 points or less. The Dog D also second in the country in pass efficiency defense, and they are 3rd in rushing defense at 81 yards a game. In Lanning's 3 seasons as defensive coordinator, the Bulldog D has allowed an average of just 76 rushing yards per game. His D is also second in the land in total defense. They're allowing only 254 yards a game, and they get after the quarterback. They are ranked 5th in sacks. They also have 3 defensive touchdowns.
Enjoy these moments, man.
Please welcome a 2-time Broyles Award finalist, Georgia defensive coordinator Dan Lanning.
Wow. Absolute honor. Extremely grateful to be here. Thankful to David, Betsy, Molly, Jeff, Mark. It's a first-class event, as we all know, and even more of an honor just to be on the stage with some of these great coaches. I know I speak for every one of us when I say you dream as a coach of an opportunity to be able to be awarded this award and be nominated for this award. It's very special, and we certainly don't take it for granted. Maybe even more excited to be associated with an award that doesn't just do good for coaches, but also does good for people. So we certainly support the all-timers resources that you provide, and grateful for that. That being said, this recognition doesn't belong to me. It belongs to so many other people beyond me. I know as an assistant coach, your goal always is to make sure you don't disappoint the head coach, right? And for me, that's a battle every single day, because my head coach, Sophia Lanning, she's a trooper, right? She has high expectations. So who knew when we met at Outback Steakhouse, how long ago, 15? 16 years ago, baby. Who knew when we met at Outback Steakhouse 16 years ago, we'd be hanging out here in Little Rock, Arkansas. So, no, she makes it work for us. She's the head coach at our house. There's no doubt about it. She wears the pants, and I like coming home to be the assistant when that's the case. So even more rewarding than being a coach, maybe the most rewarding thing for me is being a father. And our 3 sons, Caden, Niles, and Titan, are an absolute blessing for us every day. And I enjoy bringing them around our players. I enjoy being their dad. And I remember Sophia and I talked early on, hey, we want to make sure these boys come and ask us to play football. I promise they're going to come ask. I remember asking my parents to play ball, and we just said, we're just going to wait until they ask. And then my son's 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm like, they're going to ask. Come on, they're going to ask. So my 8-year-old son asked last week Dad, I'm ready to play tackle football. And there is no one more excited in the world than me. I can promise you that. So really who this opportunity belongs to is our players. I had a parent send me this message the other day before the game, and I thought it was really indicative of our players, family. A group of people coming together to experience the best that life has to offer. That's what our players have provided for me and our coaching staff. Our players go to no end. They work their absolute tail off every single day for us. And I know that we would not have the success we've had at Georgia if it wasn't for our players and the way they work. Our assistant coaches, Glenn Schumann, Trey Scott, Jamal Adai, Will Muschamp, and their wives, the work they put, the leadership they carry on for the players in our program and what they do for our players is endless. And I know they're a big, big piece of the success we've had as well. And then, lastly, I'm forever indebted. Similar to Jeff, I feel like there's so many people you could say thank you to, but I really want to focus on the people that have helped us get here this year. And Kirby Smart took a chance on me when he certainly didn't have to take a chance on me. He's been a great mentor. He's been a great coach, and his wife, Mary Beth. I'm so grateful to have the opportunity to work in a place where family matters, where competition is alive every day. You're invigorated to go to work. I get the opportunity to learn at the highest level, and I learn from our head coach every single day. Ultimately, what I would say about our team this year, I know we've had, great measured success with our stats, but this team was fueled not by anger, not by competition, but by love. We played really hard for each other. We were connected to each other in a unique way that I've never been a part of. This is the most enjoyable year of my professional career. And again, it was fueled by that love for our players. The game of football, much like the game of life, it has its ebbs and its flows. I can remember riding a bike to work when I was a graduate assistant in Arizona State. I came home late one night and parked it in the garage. And we left the garage door open that night, and I came out, I didn't have a bike anymore. And as a GA, that's a pain in the rear, man. You try to figure out how to get to work, so I had to run to work the next day. But moments like that remind you of moments like this. And I wouldn't change a single moment, from being an elementary PE teacher to being a graduate assistant pouring coffee to getting to stand in the middle of the field in some tremendous venues. It's been an absolute fun journey. But one thing that I think I'll say kind of in closing is this season for us, we've been talking about writing a book. Every single game's been a chapter of that book, and we want to make this a book that you don't want to put down, right? And we want to continue to build on that chapter, build as a team, build as a unit. And I'm not just anxious to see how this book finishes in the year 2021, but I'm anxious to see how this book finishes for our players in their life in the future. I know the impact that coaches have made on me, and again, I'll be forever grateful. One of our a late coach, Chuck Litteris, was my my college defensive coordinator. And he had a unique way of motivating players. And I think he could see before games, I still get nervous. I'm the guy that has to go to the restroom like 4 times before a game. Still, I used to get excited running down a kickoff. And Coach Litteris came up to me one time and said, are you nervous? Yes, sir. Well, Lion's nervous right before it goes in for the kill. So, and me and my college teammates, we still talk about that. Chuck Litteris was a great motivator, and grateful for him and grateful for all the coaches that have poured into me. Last night, I'm just going to tell you guys in fair warning, I got a lucky penny from somebody, passed me a lucky penny. But I'll tell you this, you can have all the luck in the world, because I don't think there's anyone luckier than me to get to do what I do, for who I do it with who I do it with, who I love, and players that I love. That being said, in closing, thank you so much for this opportunity. Grateful forever for the Broyles Foundation, and grateful to be a coach at Georgia with our players. Thank you.
Our next finalist is Michigan offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis. Here's the key. He's going to be facing Dan Lanning in the Orange Bowl for the semifinal to get to the championship game. So that's going to be an interesting matchup, a great defense versus a great offense. Run offense versus run defense, can't wait. It's going to be great. Get your popcorn out. But for Josh Gaddis, what he was able to do is to change the identity of Michigan football this year. They came out this year and they were tough, physical, smart football, downhill running football, use the tight end, control the clock, control the game. That's what they were able to do for every game of the season. But what's most impressive to me on his coaching staff is what they were able to do in their second final game of the season against the Ohio State Buckeyes, which if you follow social media, you know they don't like me. So it was one of my happiest days to see them score 42 points, the most points scored against the Buckeye defense since 1946. So it was a great afternoon for me. But he's done a terrific job with this Michigan offense. Very impressive on what they've been able to do and accomplish this season in the Big Ten and win the Big Ten championship. And from top to bottom, I was thoroughly happy on that Saturday. Let's go to the videotape.
Josh Gaddis, offensive coordinator, Michigan.
And here's the reverse. Heading to the corner. Heading. Touchdown, Michigan.
Some may believe that Josh Gaddis should win the Broyles Award based on one game. Gaddis' Big Blue offense ravaged the Ohio State defense for 42 points and almost 500 yards of offense, including 297 on the ground. But Josh Gaddis is no one-game wonder. In his 3 years running the Michigan offense, Josh Gaddis' Wolverines have averaged more than 30 points and 400 yards of offense a game. This season, Gaddis made the move to emphasize the run. Michigan has gone from being ranked 95th in rushing offense a year ago to being the best in the Big Ten and 9th nationally with 224 yards a game. His Michigan offense is also 13th nationally in scoring, 37 points a game, and 19th in total offense, 451 yards a game. And this offense doesn't lose yards. Tops in the country in tackles for losses allowed. They're also 6th in turnovers lost. All characteristics of a well-coached offense. Josh Gaddis started his coaching career as a graduate assistant at North Carolina. 11 years later, Michigan offensive coordinator Josh Gaddis is a Broyles Award finalist.
Thank you. Just honored to be here. Pastor, thank you for the prayer. We'll use every bit of that. So we'll need it if you saw the defensive clips from Coach Lanning. But truly honored to stand in front of you all today. Thank you to David, thank you to Jeff, and thank you to the Broyles family. I think entering this award and knowing about the Broyles, you oftentimes think about the coaching part of it and the aspect. But I'm really honored to be here today for the charitable cause that you all serve. I stand before you as I lost my grandmother to Alzheimer's. So that's when I saw that, and it just, sorry, I'm an emotional person. So I know what it takes to be a caregiver, and I know the impact that it takes, on your loved ones. So, but truly honored to be here. I'm not even the best coach in my family. So I'll start there. I shared this last night. I've got two of the beautiful, best kids in the world. My son, Jace, 6 years old. My daughter, Reese, who's 4 years old. I'm so thankful to be here because of them. They are truly an inspiration to me. My son, as I say, he's the best coach in the house. He oftentimes draws plays every week, and he tells me at the end of the week, Dad used one of my plays. And so I always tell him after games, I said, son, did you see that touchdown? That was one of your plays. And what's really important to me is he gives me a cutout of his game book every week, and I put that in my actual playbook. And I carry that to the booth to me each and every week to symbolize just how much he means to me and the support he gives me. Because without them, I couldn't be who I am. I want to thank their mom, Tessa, who she's been so instrumental in my success. She's been there every step of the way for me. And most importantly, she's raised our kids to love me and support me, even when I wasn't there for them all the time. And as we all know, as coaches, that's one of the hardest challenges, is to be there for your kids in such their special moments. I was told early on as a father, right, your mom will create the memories for you. Your dad will create everything that you believe in. And when I look at my kids, they have enjoyed some of the best memories of their life because the way their mom supports them and the way their mom supports me. And most importantly, the way that I've been able to establish my career while also having them a part of it. There's no greater feeling than having my kids in the locker room pregame and having them in the locker room postgame. And if anyone knows me or anyone's been to a Michigan football game, they know, as most coaches recruit before games, I spend that time with my kids because I want that to be the most important memory that they can share with me as their father. I want to thank my mom. I grew up in Durham, North Carolina, single parent of 3, and I have an older brother and an older sister. My mom sacrificed so much, and she's my biggest fan. She's my biggest supporter, and I love her to death. And there's no way I could be standing in front of anyone today without her. Just the love, the care, and the support that she's given me and the drive that she's continued to push me. She's everything to me. My brother, my sister, they mean everything to me. My whole family means everything to me. My father, my what I call my stepfather, Cliff, everyone has really raised me to be the coach and be the person that I am today. I was a young kid that didn't know much growing up in Durham. I found football as an avenue, and that avenue was to create a better opportunity in life, but little did I know that avenue was to create a better opportunity in other people's lives. And the thing that I say the most is when I was growing up, I didn't think I had much. But the one thing I did have, which is the most important thing I've learned now, is I had love and support from my family. One of my greatest moments was last week, obviously winning the Big Ten championship game. And that wasn't necessarily the moment that struck me that night. I get to my phone and I check my phone, and my family, all of my aunts and uncles, threw a watch party. And they were all in one room back in Durham, and it's probably 30 of them there. And that just means everything to me. Just to have that support from my family, that love from them. And that's my reason why. That's the reason why I love to coach this game and impact young men's lives. Just like the impact my college coach, Jim Grove, had on me, and my college position coach, Dean Hood, had on me. Those two men were instrumental in raising a young boy to turning him into a young man at Wake Forest University, and I'm forever grateful for them. I want to thank, as I get here, I want to thank our staff. I want to thank my offensive staff, because this is truly an honor to stand in front of you all, but it couldn't be done without the men that I work with each and every day. And before I get into my staff, I really want to thank our athletic director, Ward Manuel, our assistant athletic director, Doug Gennady, for giving us an opportunity, for believing in us as a staff, and not faltering when things got rough, and giving us a chance to ride this wave out that we truly believed that we could. To my offensive staff, I feel like I'm blessed. I've got the best offensive staff in the country. I've got Matt Weiss, who's a phenomenal quarterback coach who brings so much input to our offensive staff. I've got Mike Hart coaching our running backs, who's one of the all-time legends in Michigan history, who does a great job developing our players. I've got Jay Harbaugh as our tight ends coach, who does a tremendous job also as our special teams coordinator. But then most importantly, I've got Sharon Moore, who coaches our offensive line and who's our co-offensive coordinator, a guy that I love like a brother and a tremendous supporter of me and a tremendous coach, and has really led us to have the success that we've had this year. But then the number of people that have tremendous input on our staff. Steve Kasula, who's my right-hand man, who's an offensive analyst for us, that I love him like a brother. I was fortunate to hire Steve from working with him at Western Michigan back in 2010, to Biff Poggi, who's our associate head coach, who gives me tremendous guidance, to Grant Newsom, our offensive GAs, Grant Newsom and Crutchfield, Nate Crutchfield. The amount of men that we work with, and Cal Devan, our offensive other analyst that works with our offensive line, I couldn't share this success and stand before you without acknowledging each and every one of those men. I think just the staff itself has earned this right of this season by our players. I also want to thank our defensive staff. We had tremendous change on our coaching staff, and we hired a tremendous defensive coordinator in Mike McDonald, who rightfully so could be standing here in this position as well. He's done a tremendous job impacting our team, impacting our defensive staff. And I'm thankful for all of our defensive assistants. But most importantly, the last two people, or the last group of people I really want to thank, I want to thank Jim Harbaugh. I stand before you because Jim Harbaugh took a risk. I apologize. Jim Harbaugh took a risk 3 years ago. He hired a longtime wide receiver coach that was a co-offense coordinator at the time, and he gave me my first opportunity to be an offensive coordinator, one of very few minority offense coordinators in college football. And it's an honor, and I apologize. It's hard not to get like this. I apologize because of the journey that we've been on. We started off great. And 2019 was amazing. And then we faced adversity in 2020. And if anyone has followed the Michigan football program, a lot of things went wrong in the past year. And when I think about over the past 12 months, I stand before you so honored because for a lot of people out there, they didn't believe we belonged there. They didn't believe I belonged there. They didn't believe that I was the right man leading our program offensively. And I'm forever grateful for Coach Harbaugh because he believed in me. And when you have that type of support from your head coach, that means the world. And so, I apologize. I'm so thankful. And I'm tremendously honored to be here. But most importantly, I thank our players because during our hard times, they never did lose faith in me. They never lost faith in our coaching staff. And when you have that type of love and support from your players, and they're willing to go out and do anything and everything and jump through a wall for you, you can accomplish anything. And that's what really life is all about. In the midst of adversity, in the midst of hard times and tough times, lean on the people that love and believe in you the most. Because if they believe in you and you believe in yourself, there's anything in this world that you can accomplish. And I'm a prime example of that, not because of the things that we've done off the field, but because of the things that we've done off the field to grow our team, to believe in each other, and make this season special because of the love, the trust, and commitment by everybody that's a part of our Michigan football program. So I'm honored to be here. I apologize if it's emotional for me, and I'm thrilled here to be on this stage with these tremendous coaches and leaders in all of college football. And I think these are the best assistant coaches across the country. I've been fortunate to follow each and every one of these men across their career, and I have a tremendous amount of respect for them. And so thank you so much to the Broyles Foundation for allowing me to be a part of this. Thank you to everyone involved with Michigan, and thank you to my players. I love you all.
And our next Broyles Award finalist is defensive coordinator Jim Knowles from Oklahoma State. They'll be playing Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl. In his 4 years at Oklahoma State, the defense has gotten consistently better and better each year. And historically, the numbers this year are better than any numbers in Oklahoma State history for the last 4 decades. Jim Knowles has been coaching college football for 34 years. And not only that, if you watch his team play and you watch his players play, they don't get the 4 stars. They don't get all the 5 stars. But what they get is players that will flat out get after you defensively and stop you and shut you down. That's how impressive they were this season. That's how they played the last 4 seasons. So let's get to the videotape.
Jim Knowles, defensive coordinator, Oklahoma State.
No timeouts. They get it off. Williams in traffic. Dropped! Sacked by Colin Oliver!
Thanks to Jim Knowles, fans in Stillwater have become familiar with something new. Defense wins games. The Knowles defense excelled in the most important areas this season. We're talking about the best third down defense in the country, and no team sacked the opposing quarterback more than Jim Knowles' Cowboy defense. They also lead the land in tackles for losses. They are ranked 3rd in total defense and 5th in scoring defense. Only one of their 12 opponents scored more than 24 points. A defense that is elite against the run, 6th ranked, and the pass, 12th in the country. The Cowboy defense has improved consistently since Jim Knowles arrived 4 years ago. Today, the Broyles Award Committee honors Coach Knowles not only for a great season, but also for his 34 years teaching the game. Some call him quirky.
Look out! Oh!
Today we call Oklahoma State defensive coordinator Jim Knowles a Broyles Award finalist.
Thank you. Let me start by thanking President Shrum, our athletic director, Chad Weiberg, Coach Gundy, all the fans, alumni, and supporters who proudly wear America's brightest orange. They're loyal and true. Go Pokes. I'm proud to represent you. To David, Jeff, Betsy, Molly, the whole Broyles family, the committee, the people who put in the work for such a great cause, and what a wonderful event. Thank you. I thank my children, Hallie, Luke, and Jack. They're all grown. They're adults. Thank them for putting up with a crazy father. I love you, and I have a fund set aside for your therapy as needed later on in life. To my youth coaches, most of them are gone. I grew up in inner city Philadelphia, no grass, and a 6-year-old boy who was scared And these guys, these cops, plumbers, maintenance men, they took me in. They gave me discipline, order, and structure in the midst of chaos. And I love them for it. To my high school coach, Jack Branca, still in my life, and Mrs. Coach, I love you. Maxie Bond, my college coach, Georgia Tech legend, just like Coach Broyles. It's come full circle. To the guys I worked for, Jim Hoffer just lost his wife, Kathy. He taught me to live in my hopes, not my fears. Gary Darnell taught me to have fun doing hard things. And how about Coach David Cutcliffe, a former Broyles Award winner, who I worked for twice, my mentor. He taught me that a good carpenter does not complain about his tools and to leave a place better than you found it. To Coach Mike Gundy, I learned from him never show fear, never show fatigue, never show frustration. That brings me to the players. This is probably the easiest yet hardest part, because these are guys that I love, that I would take a bullet for, and they would take a bullet for me. They know who they are. If you're watching, I love you. Look, I came to Oklahoma State where Coach Gundy has already established a winning culture. He's a great coach. We just had to bring the defense up to that level. We had to make the defense successful and accountable. The players believed. They put up with me early on when, I had some not nice things to say every now and then, but they put up with me. And let me tell you, say what you want about this generation, but they want to be coached hard. They want to be pushed. They want to be challenged. Here's the thing. They have to know that you love them. They have to know that you care about them. And when they do, they will go to the wall for you. And that's what our guys did. As Mark said, we didn't have a single 4-star or 5-star player. What we had were just great kids willing to work, willing to believe. And we went from 90 to 60 to 30 to arguably one of the best defenses in the country. And how did we do that? I'll tell you how. Because football is the greatest team game in America. The greatest team game. And when you have people who are willing to not take the credit, to not care who gets the credit, but to come together for one cause, you can accomplish great things. You really can. And our job as coaches is to raise these young men to go out into the world, to form teams in their community, to be leaders, to be accountable, to be problem solvers, not complainers, and to have each other's backs. I spend a lot of time on my teaching methods and trying to reach this generation. To get them off their phones. Like I see some of you on your phones right now, so I'm gonna get you off your phone. So what I make them do is I make them respond a lot back to me, so I know they're paying attention. One of our sayings is, I say, give us an inch. They say, we'll defend it. So I'm going to say it to you. Give us an inch. Give us an inch. You know what? That wasn't really great. But I mean, I'm a coach. I can't lie. Okay? You guys need a lot of work. See me after. Okay? But that is why football is America, okay? Because we have police men and women, firemen and women, first responders, caregivers, right, who put their hand on the line every day and are willing to devote their time, talents, energies, treasures for the people that they love every day. And that's why football does represent America. That's why it is the greatest team game there is. When we get together on Thursdays after practice, we have a little huddle. And I say, TMB, TMB. And the players say, the night before. And that is a special time in a college athlete's life. David, you remember 48 hours, before you're going to play a major college football game on national television. You're going to be the man in the arena. You're going to be open for praise, but subject to criticism. You're going to put yourself out there for your team, your university, your family. You're going to put yourself out there. You're going to put yourself on the line. It's a special time. I get goosebumps thinking about it and going through that with these players that I had this year. And over the years, you form bonds that just last forever. They really do. Though between those white lines on that gridiron, on that field, that's my church. I got to tell you, that's my church. That's where I learned from all these coaches. I learned how to believe in something greater than myself, to have faith, to have hope, to be committed, and to be of service. And I will spend, and I have spent, and I will continue to spend the rest of my life just trying to give back some of that that I got freely, that was given to me freely. I'm going to try to keep giving that away. And it's a beautiful thing. It's not a job, it's a vocation. And if that's my church, then being here today with these guys, the best in the business, with the legacy passed forward by other assistant coaches, to have my name somewhere in the realm with Coach Broyles, that's my church. This is my Christmas. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
And our next Broyles Award finalist is Wake Forest Offensive Coordinator Warren Ruggiero. They're going to be facing Texas A&M in the Gator Bowl. What they've been able to accomplish over that last half a decade in the ACC has been spectacular offensively. Everyone thinks of Clemson, but breathing down their neck with the second most victories in the conference and one of the best offenses in the ACC has been the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. If you look at their offense this year, they scored over 500 points. Only the third time in modern ACC victory has a team been able to accomplish that. Now, personally, I have to tell you a little quick story. We were coming from the airport yesterday, riding on the shuttle bus. I was fortunate enough to meet Warren's wife and himself on the shuttle bus. So we shake hands and look at each other. All of a sudden, I can see both their eyes looking in my eyes and then going up to my hat. I completely forgot that my alma mater, the University of Pittsburgh, just beat them in the ACC championship game. So it wasn't a very good impression. But I'd just like to congratulate Coach on what he was able to do in the ACC this year and what he's been able to do throughout his long career. An offensive genius, and the points that they put up has just been very, very impressive and spectacular all season long and throughout his career. So let's get to the video, please.
Warren Ruggiero, Offensive Coordinator, Wake Forest.
Deeks going up tempo. Hartman with some touch and an open man near the 30. It is caught.
Up until this season, outside of the ACC, to many, Warren Ruggiero was Warren who? But this year, it's hard to ignore the architect of Wake Forest's eye-popping offensive success. Warren Ruggiero's Demon Deacons are among the best in the country in the stats that count most. Wake Forest is 8th in the number of first downs, 6th in third down conversion rate, 10th in red zone offense, and 3rd in scoring at 43 points a game. The Demon Deacons have scored 35 or more points in 12 games this season. They like to strike early. These Deeks have scored first in 34 of their last 44 games. Over the last 4 years, Ruggiero's Demon Deacon offense has shattered or tied 300 school records. In 2009, Dave Clawson went all in on Warren Ruggiero. 12 years later, Wake Forest is having a season to remember. And their offensive coordinator, Warren Ruggiero, is a Broyles Award finalist.
Thank you. It's an honor here to be here today, represent Wake Forest University, our entire program, our staff, and all our players. It's also just want to recognize the Broyles Foundation and thank them for an amazing 2 days here, really a first-class event, and for everything they do in the community and for the people with Alzheimer's. So just starting out, talking about how we got here. I started out as a walk-on quarterback at the University of Delaware, and my dream was to be a college football coach. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I wanted to do all my life. And I was, as a sophomore there, walking to class in the athletic facility, and our head coach, Tubby Raymond, yelled my name, called me over, and he's like, "Warren, if you just keep working hard, stick it out, finish this thing out right, I'm going to hire you when you finish." And that was one of the greatest days of my life. I can't even tell you. That was amazing, and I knew I had just don't screw it up, right? For 2 years, and I had a job, right? So, and that was it. And he kept his promise, and he hired me as a GA and helped me get my first job as an offensive coordinator at 23, 24 years old at a small Division III school, Defiance College. And, went out there, just a kid from New Jersey, going out to the Flatlands, Ohio, figure it out, and try and turn a program around. And, our head coach came into me one day, and he threw this 1-inch book at me. It was our second year there. And he said, "Hey, I think I want you to start recruiting Florida. Here's a bunch of guys in this book, phone numbers, all this stuff." That's how it worked back then. You were on the phone. That's what you did. You didn't have cell phones. You dial a number, you leave a message, whatever. You hope they show up. Well, so I started recruiting Florida. We got a couple of kids there and from Florida that really impacted our program. And the next year, they wanted to send me down there. And the deal was, though, I had to go with an admissions counselor. And I was like, I just want to go by myself. Like, I don't need anybody with me to hold me down. I gotta go. I gotta cover some ground. I don't. So they're like, tough luck. Like, the only way you're getting down there is if you go with the admissions counselor. You got to drive with the softball team. So I did, and that person just happened to be my wife. So it all worked out. So she was a trooper. She stuck with me for a week, even though we didn't eat very much, and just ran from school to school. And so that's where it all started with us. And it was 33 years of coaching, 9 stops. She's been with me the whole way and has been awesome, and I greatly appreciate her and want to say thank you for her support. And also, I just want to thank my daughter. She's been amazing with us. We had her when we got to Hofstra University in New York, and she is my biggest fan. Just an awesome coach's daughter. One of my favorite things to do on game day is just to FaceTime her from the stadium and show her where we're at, and she loves it, and she knows all the players, and she's got it down, and she's been amazing, even though I'm not home very much, and I certainly want to thank her. Next, our head coach, Dave Clausen, I wanted to thank him. He took a chance on me 13 years ago at a point in my life that, you have some good times, you have some bad times, and that was a bad time. I'd left a great job at Elon University. We were really good. One of the top offenses in the country. Had a great head coach. We're having a blast. Great area, great staff. And I wanted to coach big-time football. I went to Kansas State. Thought that was going to be awesome, and it certainly wasn't. We were fired 9 months later. So we were like, oh man, what are we going to do? And next thing you know, God had a plan, and Dave Clausen called me up, and I went to work for him at Bowling Green, and we had 5 great years there, and we're able to go to Wake Forest. And he has just been, you work with a lot of people over your time, and he is truly a man of his word, a man of class, and a man of honor. In our profession, that doesn't always happen. He follows the rules all the way, the ethics of our game, and is a first-class human being. And, I'm just lucky to work for him and to have the job that I have, and to have the players that I have, and to do what I love, and to coach players that, love football, and to work for a guy like that has truly been an honor. So I stand before you very blessed, and I'm very thankful for being here today, and I want to congratulate the rest of the guys up here. Thank you very much.
Come on, Molly, Betsy. All right, as we get ready to announce the winner, I've done this for 26 years. We've had some very close votes. This year's vote totals were the closest they've ever been. We've had close votes between two finalists, but never have we had as many votes spread amongst all of our finalists. This has been the closest razor thin ever. So that's a compliment to all of you. We have 25 national media, 15 Hall of Fame coaches. So that just shows they respected each and every one of you, and that's how the votes were split. So with that being said, Molly and Betsy, will you please come up and read the 2021 Broyles Award winner?
Get it open here. All right.
And the winner is
Josh Gaddis, Michigan.
No, just talk, we don't need to come to the mic. Just talk to people over there. Thanks for being here, everybody. Great day. See you next year. Anybody that wants to get pictures, anybody with the media or wants to get pictures with Josh and the Broyles Award, we're going to do that down front as soon as he's finished with his interview with Stephen Sully.
What kind of coach has a watch party?
Yeah, that's exactly right. But that's my family. You know, my family's so important to me. The support they've given me and everything along the way. I'm just forever thankful for my cousins, my aunts, my uncles, my mom, everyone involved.
Maybe add something to the bowl matchup here with Dan Lanning. What do you think?
No, it's just going to be a tremendous challenge for us. We're excited, play a really good Georgia football team. Coach Lanning's a tremendous coordinator. He's done it at a very high level for a very long time. And so I'm, looking forward to the challenge. And, it's new territory for us being in the playoffs. But we're excited. Our players are excited, and we're up for it.
Arkansas fans probably want to hear your connection with Sam Pittman. He's probably celebrating in Fayetteville.
Yeah, Coach Pittman's always been a mentor and a friend to me. I was fortunate enough to work for Coach Pittman at the University of North Carolina back in 2010 as a graduate assistant. And he actually helped me get my first job. And so he called his best friend Bill Cubitt up, told him he needed a receiver coach to hire me. So I'm forever grateful to Coach Pittman. And he's done a tremendous job here, and I'm a big fan of him.
Coach, congratulations to you.
Thank
Well-deserved
you,
winner.
Yes.
Yeah.
Glad it means so much to you. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
Wow, you could see it with him. I mean, we've seen some winners, but this really meant a lot to him.
Yeah, you could see there aren't many really emotional moments, up there. And you could see, and I think it's because he really had to reinvent himself this year. I think that's what makes this so incredible is, he had to, they faced so much pressure in the offseason, Sully. Jim Harbaugh's, from fans, it's pretty well documented, right? So
this is an event you need to come to just for the coaches' stories. It was so much fun listening to the journeys they have followed to this point right here and where they started and where they are and how much it means for them to be right here.
It's a pleasure for us to be involved and see Award, and privileged to be partnered with the Broyles Award and the Broyles Foundation.
Yeah, congratulations to Josh Gaddis, our 2000 join regular programming now.